On April 10, 1912, the RMS Titanic began its maiden voyage from Southampton, England, heading toward New York City. Built by the White Star Line, Titanic was the largest passenger ship in the world at the time. Stretching more than 882 feet in length, it represented the height of engineering and luxury. With elegant interiors, grand staircases, electric lighting, and modern comforts, many saw the ship as a symbol of human progress and confidence in a new century. More than 2,200 passengers and crew members boarded the vessel, including wealthy businessmen, immigrants seeking a better future, families and workers from many different backgrounds. For several days, the journey across the Atlantic seemed peaceful. The ship moved steadily through calm seas as passengers enjoyed meals, music, and life on board. But on the evening of April 14th, Titanic entered colder waters in the North Atlantic. Throughout the day, nearby ships had sent warnings about drifting sea ice and icebergs ahead. Those messages reached Titanic, but the ship continued toward its destination. At 11:40 p.m., everything changed. High above the deck, lookouts suddenly spotted an iceberg directly ahead. Orders were immediately given to turn the ship and reverse the engines, but the massive vessel could not change direction quickly enough. The starboard side of Titanic scraped against the iceberg, damaging the hull below the waterline. Several watertight compartments began filling with freezing seawater. At first, many passengers felt little concern. The collision did not seem severe, and some barely noticed it. But deep below the ship, engineers and officers quickly understood the danger. Titanic had been designed to remain afloat with several flooded compartments, but too many had been damaged. The situation was becoming impossible to stop. As the truth became clear, crew members began preparing lifeboats and waking passengers. Distress signals were transmitted into the night by wireless operators calling for help from nearby ships. Yet the cold Atlantic stretched across miles of darkness. Lifeboats slowly lowered from the decks, but many left with empty seats during the confusion of the evacuation. As time passed, the front of the ship sank lower into the ocean. The angle of the decks became steeper, and fear spread among those still on board. In the freezing darkness, musicians continued playing as crew members worked to maintain order. Passengers searched for loved ones while others faced impossible choices in the final moments. Then, during the early hours of April 15, 1912, the Titanic reached its end. At approximately 2:20 a.m., just 2 hours and 40 minutes after striking the iceberg, the ship disappeared beneath the North Atlantic Ocean. More than 1,500 people lost their lives in the disaster. The sinking of Titanic shocked the world. Investigations that followed led to major changes in maritime safety, including stricter lifeboat requirements and improved communication systems at sea. More than a century later, Titanic remains one of history's most remembered tragedies, a story not only about a ship, but also about ambition, hope, and the fragile line between confidence and disaster.